Hi everyone, we're gonna get. All right. Cool. All right, yeah. Before we jump into our talk, just have some repeat announcements, some new ones. So symposium, today's the last day to RSVP if you'd like to get confirmed to get food to be fed. So yeah, please fill out this RSVP if you have not already. It's been posted. It's also in the Discord. You can scan this QR code. Yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah, come show up Tuesday, week 10. It's a lot of fun. Get to see you guys will be able to present. Some people from AI will present. We have a lot of fun. We eat food. It's a lot. So yeah, sign up. Our malware defense course, just an update. It now does require PTEs if you're a non-engineering major. So if you have not enrolled already and are not an engineering major, you will have to request a PT. So you do need to fill out our form here. And what will happen is at the end of enrollment, we look at how many spots we have open, and we're able to give out that many PTs. So if there are 2 spots left, we can give 2 of them out. Unfortunately, due to just like the class size and the room that we have, if the class is full, we can't give out PTEs. But if you're interested, fill out that form. If you're engineering, well, go ahead and just enroll directly using the link at the top here, or just like search up engineering 1MD in your class planner. CCDC, if you're interested in participating in CCDC, today is the last day to fill out the interest form. I think we have enough people that are interested in doing CCDC that we will probably be doing it. So if you're interested in CCDC, please fill this out. And yeah, should be a lot of fun. We'll be doing it for the first time. So if you're interested in helping build up the team, great opportunity. So social announcements. So this Saturday is going to be the cyber potluck. However, the weather forecast is not looking very favorable, so it might rain. We'll let you know day of the potluck in Discord, but if it looks like it's going to be raining during the potluck, we will just move it indoors and we'll probably get like Panda Express catering or something instead of doing grilling. So not ideal, but we should still have fun, just play games, do whatever. And yeah, it'll probably be here over there in Engineering 6. In 2 weeks on Friday, we have our Sawtell run trip. If you're interested to take a trip to Sawtell, either running or busing, fill out this RSVP so we know roughly how many people are showing up. And then, yeah, probably won't bug you all about this again, but just one last reminder that after we do our Cyber Academy and lab, if you want to just stick around, we all head over to the hill together and get dinner. So yeah, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Jason to talk about the Onion protocol.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting about the Onion protocol. So first of all, what is it? So who here has heard of Tor? Just raise of hands. Yeah, so it seems like most people in this room have heard of Tor. It's a browser that, quote, prevents someone watching your connection from knowing what websites you visit. It's used to avoid internet censorship, access the dark web, and mine Bitcoin. We'll get back to that later. But the Onion protocol is how it implements this claim of anonymity. So let's dive into how it works. So the big picture idea is that no matter how cleverly you design your protocol, some information has to be exposed because of how the internet works. Your IP address must be known by someone so that you can get your data back. Specifically, must be known by the target must be known by someone so that you can get data back. And the website's IP address so that you can actually route your data to it, right? If someone has both of these pieces of info, they can profile your browsing behaviors, right? They can know that I visited Reddit or something. So what if we try to add as much separation between them as possible? That's the idea of Onion. So Onion relies on a set of machines called relays. It chains 3 user-run relay machines together that effectively act as VPNs. This means only the first relay, the quote-unquote entry node, knows the user's real IP address and the website's raw response. The website's response may be encrypted. We'll get into that later. The middle relay knows no info about the connection. They don't know who connected or who you're connecting to. They only know the addresses of the first and third relay because that's who they communicate to. And then likewise, only the last relay, also known as the exit node, knows the website's real IP address and the user's raw request, which also may be encrypted. So if you use HTTPS, knowing the raw request/response doesn't really mean anything because it's still encrypted. So only you will know, you and the website will know what you requested, and only you and the website will know the response. Does this set of guarantees make sense to people? We'll be doing a lot of, like, I guess, logic reasoning on this later. Okay, cool. So just a quick diagram of what it looks like. It's called the onion protocol because you basically encrypt the message in 3 separate layers. Or actually, I guess 4, because this is encrypted with HTTPS to the website. And then you encrypt it with the exit node's key. And then you encrypt it with the second relay's key and then the first relay's key. So the first relay gets the message, decrypts the first layer, and sends the encrypted message to the second relay. This way, you can't, you ensure that the relays can't skip any steps, right? It's separately encrypted for each one, so you need to go through every single relay. So if you're attentive, you might have noticed some, questions about this protocol. It's a very simple protocol. I described it on one page, right? And so there are already some flaws showing. First of all, entry nodes and governments, ISPs, or anyone eavesdropping on you can see that you're using Tor, right? This is kind of an unavoidable issue with how the internet currently works, right? You can't really hide the fact that you're using Tor. You may be able to hide what website you're connecting to with Tor, but people can still see that you're using Tor. Exit nodes and governments, ISPs, etc. Can profile which websites are being connected to via Tor. If because they can know the IP address that's being connected to. This one probably doesn't matter as much. And if someone could monitor every relay in the circuit, circuit is what Tor calls the full set of relays that you chain to get to the destination. Then they could fully de-anonymize your connection, right? They could just follow where the packet goes across every single relay, and they would know where you connected from and where you ended up connecting to. And so we'll be focusing a lot on the feasibility of this. Okay, that was weird. So Tor has several heuristics to reduce the likelihood of a single entity being able to eavesdrop on the entire circuit. The first heuristic is that every relay in the circuit must be operated by a different person. Note that this is, self-reported for who operates the relay. Every relay must be in a different internet subnet. I believe the default config is a 16 block for IPv4 or a 32 block for IPv6. If you know what that means, then good. If you don't know what that means, you'll probably learn what it means eventually, but it's not that important. It's basically to prevent not really an ISP. ISP blocks are usually bigger than that, but one local region from being able to eavesdrop on the connection, right? UCLA only has 3 16 blocks. So, you could, this is a massive school and we only have 3 16 blocks. So we could only you could actually, I guess, technically have one Tor circuit running in between 3 different UCLA IP blocks, but it's very, very hard, right? For a school our size, we can barely manage it. So this makes it much unlikelier that a passive eavesdropper will be able to observe a full circuit. So now let's get into malicious nodes, right? What if instead of passive eavesdropping, we started running malicious Tor relays? After all, running a relay is pretty cheap, right? It doesn't require that much hardware. You just need to proxy some network bandwidth and do some encryption and decryption on the request, right? And there's not actually that many Tor relays. I think the estimates are 10,000 relays in the network. So it's not really an impossibly large number to achieve or anything. If we control 10% of the network, we control around 0.1% of all 3-hop circuits, which would let us profile around 1 in every 1,000 users, right? 0.1% is actually a pretty big number, right? If there's 10,000 people using Tor, you were able to de-anonymize 10 of them, right? Ideally, we would want 0 people to be de-anonymized. So to prevent malicious nodes, Tor has a concept called guard nodes. So in terms of anonymity, the entry node is the most important. It's the only relay to see the user's real IP address, right? So if we can ensure that the entry node is not compromised, then the user's IP will never be exposed, even if the rest of the circuit knows, even if the rest of the circuit is operated maliciously. So Tor has this like really complicated algorithm to select guard nodes, which are machines meant to be trusted and will always select a guard node to be the entry node. Tor has, like 2 or 3 pages of documentation with like a very formal sounding algorithm about how they select guard nodes. But are you really satisfied with this? Right? Like, can you trust some 2-page algorithm to ensure that your IP doesn't get exposed by someone pretending to be legitimate? Right? So we'll get into this a little bit later. But now on to Bitcoin for some reason. Um, a core security property of Bitcoin is that if you control greater than 50% of mining activity at some period of time, then you can forge transactions, which is really, really bad, right? You can pretend someone paid you money when you didn't, or something like that. And with the volume of Bitcoin miners, right? There was this whole like Bitcoin mining phase where everyone started setting up mining rigs. This is like pretty computationally infeasible for any single entity to do, right? You cannot really hope to compete against the masses. But what if you could temporarily disable other miners, even just for a short period of time, like 10 minutes or so? It turns out over 60% of Bitcoin nodes run over the Tor network because they want to anonymize their Bitcoin mining or something. I don't know. So I really sure hope that Tor can't be attacked, right? If you could temporarily take down, just for hypothetical purposes, the entire Tor network, then you'd only need around 20% of the mining power in the network, which is much less than 50%. And if, a large nation, say like Russia, wanted to do this, maybe they could actually achieve this, right? This is under half of what it would take normally to, take over the Bitcoin network. So yeah, Tor attacks in reality, right? Nation states have a lot of motivation to attack Tor. Thanks, Bitcoin miners. In 2019, someone discovered a malicious group that controlled over 10% of guard nodes and had been for at least 2 years, right? So that 2-page algorithm clearly needed more pages, right? To put this into perspective of how big of a number 10% is, the largest legitimately running group only controls about 2% of guard node volume. So someone controlling 10% of guard node volume could theoretically have been de-anonymizing, up to 0.1% of Tor connections for the past 2 years, right? So this is an attack that already could have been happening. In 2020, the same person discovered another malicious group that controlled over 27% of exit nodes. This means that they could drop traffic for 27% of connections, right? This is a graph. They did a year of monitoring. The top of the graph is 27% of exit nodes by volume. So you can see that periodically they did spike to, at some point controlling 27% of exit nodes. And this was, only a year of monitoring. I think they got banned after this. But they could have been doing stuff before as well. It's not clear that they started, just a year. As for why they were monitoring for a year, I think they did a lot of screaming to the Tor maintainers that the Tor protocol is really easy to attack, and they didn't get a lot of traction. So I think they just didn't report this for a year to prove a point to gather data on it. So that's something. But yeah, the conclusion, I guess, is that the Onion protocol and thus Tor isn't very good, and we probably can't do much better given the current constraints of the internet, where the source and destination can't be obscured in order to route data correctly. I think there's some like cryptography schemes like oblivious HTTP or whatever that might solve this issue, but until we get some massive structural overhaul, not much we can do. So don't rely on Tor's security guarantees for anything you actually care about. And if you do mine Bitcoin, probably stop, but definitely stop using Tor. Yeah. If you want to learn more, there are some links that I referenced when making this talk. But any questions?
Know how they figured out which nodes were malicious?
Yeah, so Alec asked how they figured out which nodes were malicious. So at least, so I'm not sure about the 27% exit nodes, but the 10% guard nodes, they observed behavior in the relay that could never have been done via like a Tor browser download. So it basically proved that they wrote a client to emulate Tor's behavior probably more efficiently or whatever, so that they could run more relays. So that's how they caught that, but you obviously can't rely on that. So it was kind of just luck that they happened to catch the bad actors slipping up. Yeah, any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and split up into our normal cyber lab groups. So just a reminder, Mallard up here, ad blocker in the back, and then we'll go down the hall for fuzzing lab.